trying to get the ball to Don Warren on a crossing pattern. What Fellows did in the zone defense was drop back. He kind of hit. I don't think Joe Theismann ever saw Fellows, and he made the play because Fellows had backup help behind him and Michael Downs. Another great interception. They're going to have football teams on the losing side of the game.
That was the fourth turnover. Here comes Michael Morton for the Redskins. And he is upended at the 15 as falls out to the 18. Take a look at that scoring drive again. And it wasn't much of a scoring drive. Following the interception, Dorsett exploded right through the middle out of the shotgun. Got a good block from Rafferty. Popped it in. There it is. Cowboys have just taken away Washington's offensive game plan. I'm certain of that. O.J. touched on it earlier. They moved the ball in their first series. Riggins 8, Riggins 5, Riggins 7. Cowboys called timeout. Ernie Statler talked it over with them. They haven't been able to run the ball since. I don't know what he said or what he did, but it looked like it was going to be an all-Washington running game for a while as we watched George Rogers working against Dexter Klingscale. And when the Redskins can't move the ball at least somewhat on the ground, you take away an awful lot of their offensive weapons.
Well, I'm surprised John Riggins isn't in the game, O.J. Of course, you like Rogers because of his speed.
Well, I think that may be a cause of it. He may be injured, but they need a guy that has at least the possibility of breaking one, and I don't think you look for Riggins to break any long runs for you.
Makes good sense.
Redskins now are going to have to think big. They are down 30-7. This is Rogers. Rogers hit at the line of scrimmage. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Gene Lockhart. It looks like Bob Bruning is the middle linebacker for the Cowboys this year, with Ed Jones.
Well, it appears as if Washington is trying to go back to that game plan, run the ball, and that's what really opens up their passing game. But unfortunately tonight, they just have not been able to run the ball, especially on 1st down.
People are wondering why they're running the ball. They're expecting a pass rush. They're trying to fool Dallas, and Dallas beat them both times.
Keith Griffin is in. Rogers is out. Griffin works well out of the backfield. It's 3rd down and passing yardage.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been 6 points had Dennis Thurman come up with it, or rather Victor Scott. Oh, he came so close, the second-year man from Colorado.
So it's amazing. You get a team out of their rhythm.
He got him out of there. Dallas has Washington out of their rhythm, that's for sure. Theismann hasn't had many days as bad as the one he's having tonight. But this game's not over. He does throw it right to Vernon Scott. Should have been intercepted. Should have been another touchdown. Redskins are still in the game, though.
Cowboys will get it back in good field position. Jeff Hayes, the punter. Leon Gonzalez is back. Hayes has an end-over-end job going for him. And it takes a Cowboy bounce that the Cowboys watch go to the 42-yard line, where it's killed by Anthony Jones of the Redskins. The Cowboys, good field position at the 42-yard line. Their own 42. A reminder, coming up tonight on Nightline, in light of Pete Rose's record-hitting achievements, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Franco Harris, Howard Cosell, and the son of Ty Cobb examine why some professional athletes stay in the game past their prime just to break records. That's tonight on Nightline, following your late local news. They mark it inside the 43-yard line. Cowboys in total control of this game now. Redskins playing uncharacteristic football for them. They usually win by the turnovers. They've turned it over 4 times tonight. The Cowboys, not at all. Cowboys leading 30-7. Timmy Newsom. Gets out of the arms of Rich Malott, the linebacker, back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe ekes a yard out of it before Tony Peters takes him out of bounds.
You know, I said the Redskins are still in the ball game, and I really believe that. This Washington club is a quality club. There's still plenty of time left in this game. A whole 4th quarter, 6.5 minutes now. Dallas has not committed a turnover yet. They're due. I think if they do commit a turnover, if Washington forces 1 or 2 in the next 6 or 7 minutes, it's going to be a tight game again, provided that Washington scores.
2nd down and 10. Dorsett following Newsom. Dorsett, ooh, he is smashed there by Darrell Grant. Right at the 45-yard line. Well, they'll mark it for a 3rd down and 8.
Thought Tony on that play had a chance to pop it outside. I don't think he ever saw Darrell Grant. He really took a licking.
And Cowboy fans, and I think Tom Landry even surprised at their ball club tonight. They really didn't know what they had. Tom Landry has said, we won't know what we have until we go against the Redskins. They've made a lot of changes. Anthony Dickinson is gone. Ron Springs is gone. They've kept a lot of youngsters. Danny White fires and tries to get it in to Tony Hill on the 3rd and 8. Incomplete, and a flag is down. Curtis Jordan was defending against Tony Hill. Preliminary indication holding against the Cowboys. And we'll see that decline, I'm sure.
Number 61, offense, penalty decline, 4th down.
Jim Cooper, who is on the right side, the right offensive tackle, was the Cowboy who was holding. Coming off a broken leg and a badly dislocated ankle from a year ago when Cooper and his wife and a couple of other Cowboys were watching a Monday Night Football game. He got up to go to the men's room, slipped on the dance floor, and broke his leg.
And Tony was saying, this guy's blocking for me.
We have heard word now that John Riggins has a mild strain of the right hamstring. He might return. That's what we get from the Washington bench. Mike Saxon to punt. Raphael Cherry is back for the Redskins. Saxon puts it up high. This time Cherry calls for and executes the fair catch at the 12-yard line. 5:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Cowboys leading 30-7.
Yeah, that's one of the Hogs. The Hogs have not gotten the job done on 1st down here tonight. The only success Washington has had on 1st down is when they've had to throw the ball, and they're a type of team that really would not, they don't like to throw the ball on 1st down.
You know, they came out, as I mentioned, in the 1st quarter, 1st possession, Riggins broke a big one. They went 3 consecutive 1st downs on the ground, and Dallas called a timeout, went over the sidelines, talked it over, and that has been the end of the Washington running game tonight. 1st down and 10. Theismann, unruffled, goes back to the pass to Don Warren that was intercepted a short while ago. This time he completes it out to the 30-yard line. 18-yard pickup.
It's going to be very difficult throwing the ball right now. They have 6 defensive backs in the secondary for the Dallas Cowboys, using a variety of coverages. I'm surprised that Joe got fooled a couple of times, but he did. 6 defensive backs.
They go into their 4-0. They bring in Dennis Thurman, of course, he's in there, has been in there most of the game. Vic Scott's there, Bill Bates, the linebacker, and then you have Walls, Clinkscale, Downs, and Fellows. That's what they use in their 4-0 defense. On 1st and 10. Rodgers to the 35-yard line, a gain of 4.
Well, last
2nd and 6.
Last year this time we would have seen Joe Washington in the game. Washington came to the conclusion, the team Washington, that Joe had just been around too long and had been beaten up a little too much to help him. But I understand Washington had a pretty good day. Joe Washington yesterday caught 4 or 5 passes. They can really use him now.
And, of course, Joe Washington is with Atlanta, as is Charlie Brown, 2 familiar names to Redskins fans. Either one having big years a year ago due to injuries. Rodgers, right side, surging close to a 1st down. He'll be held short at the 40-yard line by Dexter Clinkscale.
One of the reasons the Cowboys are playing with 6 defensive backs, obviously not to give up the big score, but the other reason they invite Washington to run the ball now, because if Washington runs the ball, that eats up time on the clock, and that works towards Dallas's advantage.
Well, Riggins is in the game. If he has a hamstring at all, you wouldn't want him in there, I would think. He's short yardage, long yardage, whatever. So Riggins is in the game. It would just seem that Rodgers is the preference of Coach Joe Gibbs, considering where the game is at this moment. Riggins works for the 1st down. And no matter how you carve it, at 36 years of age, John Riggins, somewhere, as he told you, Joe, is going to come to an end. It's been great and wonderful, but George Rodgers is only in his 5th year. He's a young football player, not beaten up, not battered. So he will be the man in the Redskins' future. 1st and 10 Redskins. We're still in the 3rd quarter. 3:25, the clock is moving, but the Redskins are down 23 points. Rodgers. And he does provide a much niftier style of running, the former Heisman Award winner from South Carolina. Rogers to midfield, gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2.
He's the type of player that gets better as the game goes on, and the more they work him, they're going to get him popping a few before it's over.
That was really his complaint last year down in New Orleans when they started alternating. He was alternating with Earl Campbell. They like to work the big boys. Bart Monk. The Theismann now starting to hit receivers. Monk working in front of Everson Walls for another Washington first down.
The thing that Dallas is trying to do now is to force Washington to use the clock. They get the short gainers. They'll give up some of the passing game, but only the short passes. They do not want to allow Washington to go deep with the long ball for a touchdown.
You know, and oddly enough, they have the people to do it. Calvin Muhammad can get deep. Barnwell can get deep. Monk can get deep. Didier, the move man, number 86 for the Skins on 1st and 10. Another pickoff. This is Bill Bates. Gets the deflection. The hit provided by Clinkscale. Bates had to wait for it to come down, but again, Cowboy defenders were right with the Redskin receivers. 4 interceptions. That's the most Theismann has ever had in a game. And they were also holding, so things are not going too well for the Redskins. Their first will be declined.
Well, I don't think Joe likes this birthday present that he's getting from the Cowboys.
As Clinkscale, the collision with Didier. Bates waiting for the ball. Here comes Monk. But the Cowboys get it back. The 4th interception of the night. The 5th turnover. They have it near their own 42-yard line. Danny White going all the way tonight. Hasn't played in 3 weeks when he suffered rib cartilage damage. Not noticeable tonight. Newsom works for a couple up near the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8. There's Bill Bates. Came up a free agent 3 years ago. They love him here in Dallas because he will hit somebody. If anyone's standing around, he'll hit his own people.
That's one of the reasons they are successful, too, with the 6 backs against the run. You know, offensive teams would like to run against the 6-back defense, but Clinkscale and Bates do a heck of a job supporting the run defense.
When you're down 30-7, you just can't run it all night. 2nd and long for White. Again, he has a lot of time.
And he's got the tight end. Oh, he had him.
Well, he did have Cosby downfield. I just don't think he wanted to put it up and take any risk at all at this point with a 23-point lead. Early in the game, I think he might have released that to Cosby, who was open for a moment. White now 11 of 28, 185 yards, 1 touchdown. The last 7 have been incomplete, and he might be getting a little too careful with it. A little air conditioning unit blowing the hair of Randy White. They have a couple on either side of the field.
Randy said there was a closeness to this team. There was a unity that they lacked the last couple of years, and I believe he was right. It seems to be showing here tonight.
3rd down, long yardage again for Dallas. They say things really turned around when they lost to Buffalo, a team that only won 2 games a year ago when they lost to them in November last year. Danny White underthrows Tony Dorsett. I got to agree with you a little bit, Joe. He obviously is not in pain, Danny White, but he's not throwing as sharply as we have seen him throw in the past.
No, Donnie's a better passer than that, Danny is, and I think he has lost some of his strength because of the rib injury. I'm surprised to see this Washington bunch behind like this. They're a better football team than this, but the Cowboys are just putting a whipping on them.
And while Danny White maybe isn't throwing it as well as he possibly could if he were a little more healthy, not saying that that's a fact, what he is doing is being very careful with it. Cowboys with no turnovers tonight. Mike Saxon to punt. Oh, he has hit a beautiful punt. Rafael Cherry watches it, and that turned over. It could have taken a Cowboy bounce. It did not. Through the end zone, touchback. Washington will get it at the 20. Another 56-yard boomer. And Mike Saxon, a rookie from San Diego State, who was cut by Detroit last year. Did not lose his confidence. Kicked during the offseason. Cowboys looked at him in minicamp. They liked what they saw. They worked him throughout the preseason. And here he is. Danny White has been the punter, of course, several years, many years now with the Cowboys. They've always looked for somebody to relieve him of those duties and the pressure of thinking about it. And they may have found that man in Mike Saxon. First and 10. You're down 30-7. What do? You have 1:03 remaining in the third quarter. You keep it in the air. Theismann out over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Goes down in the arms of Mike Hegman.
You know, you do have to keep it in the air, I believe, to make the kind of comeback that's necessary to get ahead in this football game. But it's so difficult to throw the ball when you have 5 and 6 defensive backs back there. The linebackers are also playing, or a linebacker that's in the game is also playing the pass first. It's just a tough deal right now. Theismann's got his work cut out for him.
You won't get deep on it, but you certainly can work over the middle. And it really becomes almost like an umbrella. Second down and 8. Theismann tries to get it over the middle. In and out of the hands of Don Warren. Incomplete. It'll be third down and 8. 16 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Cowboys on top 30-7. They lost twice to the Redskins last year. They lost in Washington 34-14. And they made a remarkable comeback, being down 21-6 in the third quarter a year ago to win 30-28 in December. Oh, that smile on Danny White. It's been a long time since we've seen him smiling. Third and 8. Keith Griffin is in the backfield. The full blitz is on. Theismann gets time. And, of course, one-on-one coverage gets Art Monk open. And he'll have first down yardage to the 34. Credit the offensive line of the Redskins. It was a full safety blitz by the Cowboys. The offensive line picked it up. And Theismann had time to find Monk, who was working one-on-one. That's the end of the third quarter, and the Cowboys will get an ovation, a well-deserved ovation, as they go up. We'll be back after this from our station. We begin the fourth quarter. The Washington Redskins leading the Dallas Cowboys 30-7. A surprising turn of events. Redskins had to be figured the favorites coming into tonight. They were much more solid. 11-5 a year ago. Cowboys 9-7. Redskins felt they had helped themselves considerably. The Cowboys were not quite certain. But it has been all the Cowboys as the Redskins have turned it over 5 times. 4 interceptions of Joe Theismann. That's a personal high for him. That's one you want to write home about. That ties his high of 4 interceptions. And of course, Raphael Septien opened the scoring with a 53-yard field goal. The Cowboys made it 10-0 when Timmy Newsome got in. Riggins answered with a touchdown to make it 10-7. Then it was 17-7 as Septien hit again. Septien hit to make it 20-7. Septien again at 23-7, and then Dorsett from 9 yards out. The Cowboys 30-7 as we go to the fourth quarter. First and 10, the Redskins with the football. Theismann wants a big one. Trying to go deep to Calvin Muhammad. Had to hurry the pass. Had it been on target, I think Ron Fellows would have got a second interception.
Boy, let's take a look at this. Now, what's surprising to me is when is the last time Washington entered the fourth quarter with less than 100 yards rushing?
I bet you'll know in a few moments. Somebody down there is already into the computer. I bet it's been a long time. You're right. 4 wide receivers now. Gary Clark, Art Monk are in the lineup. Theismann tries to get it to Warren. That was just good coverage by Mike Hegman. Theismann could have got it in there had he thrown a perfect pass. He's not throwing perfect passes tonight. But good coverage by Mike Hegman. He was in perfect position on Don Warren.
These players in the Cowboys are doing a heck of a job, but you have to take your hat off there. And he's starting as a defensive coordinator. And Gene Stallings, their secondary coach. They have these fellas playing all over the field, coming up with the big plays. Jerry Tubbs has his linebackers ready, too. It's just an all-around superb effort by the Cowboys defense.
You know, they were second in the preseason, giving up only 50 points to the Rams, 37. Tom Landry said over and over, I don't know what we've got until we see us against the Redskins. He has to be pleasantly surprised. Theismann again on 3rd and 10. Gets it into Griffin out of the backfield. He does not hold on. Bates is raining all over him. Listen to the ovation the defense gets from a very appreciative partisan Dallas crowd. And they do deserve it. Leon Gonzalez, the rookie 8th-round draft pick from Bethune-Cookman, drops for the Cowboys. Jeff Hayes on as the punter for Washington. Again, it does not turn over for Hayes. It pulls Gonzalez up to the 28-yard line. He slips one tackle, moves to the 32-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Dallas. Thursday night will be in Kansas City. The Raiders, Marcus Allen, Jim Plunkett, Doke Williams, all those big bad guys up on that front line. They must have had a big day yesterday. Really trimmed the New York Jets. Keep in mind, it'll be a special time at 8 o'clock on Thursday, but then we'll be back at our regular time at 9 o'clock Eastern time a week from tonight for the Steelers, who had a great performance from Mark Malone and their wide receiver Louis Lips yesterday. They'll be going against the Cleveland Browns. That is Monty Coleman coming out of the lineup. Speedy linebacker that the Redskins deploy in many pass covering situations, and that could possibly be a hamstring pull.
You know, if I was the Cowboys right now, Danny White, I wouldn't throw another pass.
Dorsett. And maybe Dorsett will have an opportunity to work on his stats for a while. Gain of 3. Not over the 35. Call it 2nd down and 7. Charles Mann, Mel Kaufman defensively for the Redskins.
Right now, all Dallas wants to do is run that clock. Hold on to the ball. Don't give it over. Don't turn it over on a fumble or interception. Run the clock. Force the Redskins to try and make a long drive for a score.
2nd down and 7. They marked it just over the 35.
Wrong again.
Danny White trying to get it to Renfro. And again, good coverage by Gerald Green, who has been excellent tonight. Cardinals have lost. They have lost 3-1 to the Cubs tonight. They are in a flat foot at time with the Mets, and they begin a 3-game series tomorrow with the Mets. Baseball tightening up, and of course, in October, you'll be watching the World Series right here on ABC.
Yeah, there's a lot of prayers going up there. Everybody wants to see a subway series in New York and a freeway series out west.
As some of you might not have heard, Pete Rose was not in action tonight against San Diego. Cincinnati did win, however. 3rd and 7. That was Newsome, and he was wide open at the 45-yard line. He gets the 1st down and lunges to the 46 in the arms of Rich Malott.
I still don't like it. I still don't think they should be passing the football at this stage of the game. 30-7 lead, run the clock.
I tell you, I agree with you, Joe. I thought they would run the ball, but you got to admire the way they're playing it, that they're not going to let Washington take the initiative and stand in there. They're going to make them play football for the whole quarter.
Well, I'd rather punish him.
Can I be the first yo-yo to say points figure in tiebreakers?
Oh, how about that?
You heard it first. Cowboys 1st and 10. Dorsett. And he does that well. Saw an opening inside. Made the quick cut, the adjustment, but held to a 3-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Cowboys have the football at the 49-yard line. Newsom working the right side. Agile man at 237 pounds. Hit at the line of scrimmage, struggles for 3. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Newsom came up a 6th-round pick in 1980. Saw sort of sparing duty. Had some big plays, though. Busted some big plays. As a receiver, has great speed at his size. But most of the time, he sat on the bench and watched Ron Springs operate in that fullback spot. Ron Springs, of course, waived. No one picked him up this past week. He has some personal problems. He has to settle here in Dallas. And then I'm quite sure we'll see Ron Springs somewhere around the National Football League. Dorsett once again. Got away from Charles Mann, and he works up to the 45-yard line, short of the 1st down by about a yard and a half, as Dexter Manley moved over to help Charles Mann. Actually, it's 4th and about 2, and the punting unit will come on.
What was interesting, during that entire series, Joe Gibbs didn't even watch his defense. He was sitting on the bench with Joe Theismann with a clipboard, and I guess they may try to experiment with some things now because they have to play the Cowboys again.
Well, I think Theismann definitely got fooled on a couple of those interceptions. Dallas, they had some tricks up their sleeves going into this game, and I believe it was on the defensive side.
Saxon is on. Cherry, the rookie from Hawaii, is deep for the Redskins. Saxon now looking for the corner. Oh, what a beautiful punt and a great execution by Victor Scott. He beat the ball down and was there at the 1-yard line. That would have gone into the end zone. Victor Scott saved it. And whatever Joe Gibbs and Theismann are hatching up on the sidelines, it might possibly have to wait. The heroes for the night for the Cowboys are on the field once again. The defensive unit. They have throttled Washington thus far. And Saxon has just kicked the ball that Victor Scott killed at the 1-yard line for the Redskins. They might have had great plans, but they'll have to get away from the goal line as they send George Rogers over the left side. And Rogers, with a good effort, gets out to the 8-yard line. It'll be second down and 3. And once again, a reminder, college football, CFA, coming your way. This Saturday, the UCLA Bruins. They were the upset winners over last year's national champions, BYU, ending that 25-game win streak. Well, they're going to take on Tennessee, the Bruins are. Or you're going to see BYU and Robbie Bosco, Battle of Washington Cougars. Check the listing for the game in your area as we watch Rogers work up close to first down yardage. He'll have it out to just about the 13-yard line. Gene Lockhart made the stop.
And if you're wondering why Washington seems to be able to run the ball now, the main reason is Dallas is playing them strictly for the pass.
Griffin comes in. They use Keith Griffin, the second-year man out of Florida, the brother of Archie Griffin and Ray Griffin with the Cincinnati Bengals. They use him like they used Bill Washington a year ago out of the backfield. Oh, picked off. Victor Scott. Scott diving into the end zone. Yes, they'll give it to him. He was the man who killed the ball on the punt of Saxon at the 1-yard line. Now Scott gets the interception. Second-year man out of Colorado. A second-round pack of a year ago. And the 5th interception by Joe Theismann, the most he's ever put up in the air as a professional in the National Football League. Not a night for Washington to be in Dallas. 26-yard interception return.
This particular play, Joe's going back to pass against 7 defensive backs Dallas has in the game right now. A fine interception.
Yeah, but he threw the ball to a guy that was no way open. I mean, it was just no way he was open on that pattern.
I agree. I think it's just frustration right now. They're behind so far. They were even at that point that Joe's trying to force a few things.
Septien is getting a little leg weary. He's getting a lot of playing time tonight. He splits the upright once again. Victor Scott out of Colorado. Touchdown interception against the Redskins. That's all right. He came a lot a year ago when they picked him in the second round of the University of Colorado. They liked him earlier this year in preseason when he filled in for an injured Downs at free safety in the Green Bay game. He has just picked off Joe Theismann and taken him into the end zone from 26 yards out. Deep for the Redskins is Michael Morton. And Septien will kick off once again. Morton from the end zone. And Morton out over the 25-yard line. Taken there by Jeff Rohr. Well, from Dallas, we move on to Kansas City, where the Kansas City Chiefs, big winners over New Orleans yesterday, 47-27. With Bill Kinney throwing 3 touchdown passes. We'll put speedy wide receivers Carlos Carson and Henry Marshall up against that Raiders defense. They'll get Bill Kinney's attention.
Well, I'm telling you, Kinney had a super year 2 years ago. He was hurt last year. I think Todd Blackledge came in and played. But he is back. He threw for over 4,000 yards a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we'll be there Thursday night, and it'll be a special time on Thursday night at 8 o'clock.
Hey, I used to like going down to Kansas City. Those people love their football down there. The stadium, the whole environment is just a real exciting situation.
It's exciting for Washington, too. They're down 37-7. I bet they can't believe it. That's Griffin. Keith Griffin looks out of the backfield to the 29-yard line. A gain of 3. It'll bring up second down and 7.
Joe, the most amazing thing about Theismann's 5 interceptions tonight is Dallas hasn't really put a lot of pass rush on him. They've only sacked him once, and they haven't had a tremendous pass rush.
Well, that's right. I think, again, as we pointed out, he threw in the coverage several times. They just fooled him. I don't know why he's still in the game, personally. We have a whole season ahead of us.
Keith Griffin. Bill Bates hits him first, and then he gets a little help from his friends in the form of Dexter Clinkscale. Griffin got about a yard as both Rogers and Riggins now are on the sideline for the Redskins.
Griffith is probably saying, why are they feeding me to the dogs? They're paying those guys millions of dollars, and I got to come in here and take a beat now?
I got a feeling he likes being out there. It's only his second year. He's not thinking that way, O.J.
He's probably saying, throw it to me.
Here's a brother, a two-time Heisman Award winner, Archie Griffin. On 3rd and 4, Theismann back again. Wide open, this time is Art Monk. And even then, Everson Walls almost got back to get a hand on it. Dallas defenders now are looking for statistics. They're looking for interceptions.
They're looking for interceptions, and they're going to have many chances to get some, too. They have 7 of them, 7 defensive backs in the game. As you pointed out, Frank, even though this was a completion, the defenders were certainly in position for the interception had it not been a perfectly thrown pass.
20 of Dallas's points have come off Washington turnovers. That's the time remaining in the game. And it will not go fast enough for the Redskins. I'm quite sure of that. Frustrated all night long. Credit a great defensive effort with the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be back. Had a conversation with Joe Gibbs. 7:31 remaining in the game. You're down by 30 points. What kind of conversation can you have like that, Joe?
Well, not a very good one with the coach at this point because the players know what they have to run. Right now, it's pure pride. The Washington team wants to fight down to the end. They're going to hang in there and fight. That's old Joe Theismann. He's a great competitor. He wants to hang in there and fight. So now it's just all pride.
Make it respectable. They'll meet later in the year at RFK Stadium. On 1st and 10, Theismann wanted to go deep. And he has to settle for something a little shorter than he liked. A late hit on Calvin Muhammad draws a flag.
Well, if that's against Calvin on the player that hit Calvin Muhammad, you know, the back comes up, he sees the receiver go up in the air. He doesn't know if he caught the ball or not. He should hit him.
Larry Mark Wright, our official tonight, our referee.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 26, defense.
You don't have to hit him that hard, is what I'm saying. It's out of bounds. He got him a little late.
Malcolm sort of half-heartedly went up for that ball. See now? I don't see it.
Michael Downs had his head down, was not even aware of that ball was so far overthrown, Calvin Muhammad, that he could not have caught it. The official ruled that it was personal foul and necessary roughness, and that'll give the Redskins a 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Fans don't like it. I understand why. Theismann just has to get rid of it to save the loss on the sack as Clinkscale is pursuing him all over the field. Barnwell was there, but all Theismann had to do was look at that 40 number and realize that he was not going to get away from Clinkscale.
Once again, that wasn't really the pass rush. Theismann had time. The Dallas Cowboys secondary just is doing an excellent job again.
There's Joe Gibbs. Remarkable record since he came in 81. He lost the first 5 games. And then, of course, a year later, took the Redskins to the Super Bowl, where they won over Miami. As they looked at Keith Griffin. Good effort by Griffin. Down close to the 20-yard line before Michael Downs finally wrestles him to the carpet. A Redskin first down.
Hey, how about that? You see, I could do it more than once.
They should have been at our meeting this morning.
You would have known how I really like Dallas, huh? Meantime, that last play was a good gainer because the Dallas Cowboys didn't have a middle linebacker or anyone in the middle of the defense that time. There was a natural hole right up the middle. And good running by Keith Griffin. Theismann
That's his 6th interception by Victor Scott. He was in and out of his hands as Theismann was trying to get it into Muhammad. Actually, Muhammad was open. Theismann just did not lead him enough.
Yeah, he just didn't have enough on the ball. He's throwing a lot of passes. It's hot down here. Maybe Joe's a little tired. I don't think Joe's second-guessing himself. He's been around a long time. He's such a great competitor, and he really knows the game. But I bet he's baffled a bit because these interceptions that he's throwing, several of them, or a few of them, are right into the coverage.
2nd and 10. Griffin breaks one tackle, gets inside the 20 to the 19. It'll be 3rd and long. Bill Bates makes the stop. Theismann is 14 of 33, 187 yards, and 5 interceptions. That's the most he's ever thrown. We mentioned that before. Theismann, of course, played 3 years up in Canada before he joined the Redskins. Was originally a 3rd-round draft pick for Miami. George Allen gave a 1st-round Redskins pick for him in '74. He waited to start until 1978 behind Sonny Jurgensen and Bill Kilmer, and he's been the starter ever since. And he has produced many an exciting and thrilling game for the Redskins. This has to be one of his low points for sure. Looking in the corner, Gary Clark. No, he took it out of bounds. The free agent from the USFL, leading receiver for the Jacksonville Bulls a couple of years ago. Gary Clark, not a big target, 5'9", and 170-pounder. The Redskins think he has a fine future as a receiver.
He certainly didn't hurt his cause on that catch. That was a beautiful catch. Too bad he couldn't stay in bounds.
Special attendance tonight, very few no-shows, 62,292. Stadium holds 63,700. 4th down, Washington. 5:47 remaining on a hot, frustrating night for the Redskins. Ed Jones misses. Randy White missed. Theismann still directing traffic in the end zone, all alone. Touchdown, Clint Didier. And give that one totally to Theismann. He got away from Ed Jones. He got away from Randy White. He directed traffic, and he got Didier into an open area and hit him. A little bit of solace.
Well, Randy gave him a break on that one, Frank. He came in, he tried to block him down instead of wrapping his arms around him and tackling. But next time he'll embrace him. Because watch, he tried to block him down. Bam.
Ed Jones missed his first, number 72, and then Randy White looked like he was trying to end his career. But he really was trying to put a hammer on him. And beating Ron Fellows is Didier. Mark Mosley puts it through the upright. And now the Redskins trying to get respectable. Trail 37-14. Everything is coming up roses here at Texas Stadium. Everything has gone the way of the Cowboys tonight. And they lead the Washington Redskins, the bitter rivals from the Northeast, 37-14. They lost twice last year to the Redskins. Cowboys out of the playoffs last year. The 9-7 record, out of the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Getting a little revenge this evening. Jeff Hayes tries an onside kick. The ball is free. Flag is down. Somebody, I think, was offside. There was a mad scramble at about the ball had to travel 10 yards. It made that.
I tell you, if Pete Cronin would have been looking for the ball instead of looking for someone to block, he would have recovered it. Number 54, the ball was almost hit him in his head.
Again, a flag is down. Here's Jerry Markbright.
Offside, number 47 kicking team. Penalty declined. First down, Dallas.
Greg Williams offside. The Cowboys have it, and they have it in Redskin territory. At the 48-yard line, the Cowboys, 1st and 10. Danny White gets the ball off to Newsom, even though he had 12 men right in his face. And Newsom will get a Cowboy first down at the 38-yard line, 11-yard pickup.
Newsom should have stayed in bounds on that play. But, you know, talking about Nightline, there are people who believe that Kareem is in his prime now.
It's so easy to have fun when you're leading 37-14. Rookie Robert Levette is in the backfield now for the Cowboys. 4th-round draft pick out of Georgia Tech. Had a great career at Georgia Tech, over 4,000 yards rushing. Has looked awfully good in camp. And this is Levette.
Boy, he can run. Got speed.
To the 35-yard line where he's hit there by Tony Peters. Meanwhile, the Redskins are at least warming up their backup quarterback. That's Jay Schrader out of UCLA in his second year, who spent most of the last 4 years trying to become a Major League Baseball player, or until he joined the Redskins last year. Levette out of Georgia Tech, as I mentioned, had over 4,000 yards. He kind of played in the shadow of Herschel Walker. When they drafted him in the 4th round this year, he was stunned when the Cowboys drafted Herschel Walker in the 5th round, I'm sure. Levette again, as the youngster gets to work on the clock. Rich Malott is there defensively, and Todd Levenstein for the Redskins. They'll bring up 3rd down at about 7.
Running the clock, that's what the Cowboys want to do now.
They'll see both these teams twice more this season. Washington will watch against the Giants in St. Louis, Dallas against the Giants, and also St. Louis. Eastern Division of the NFC could be one of the toughest in football this year, if not the toughest. Danny White. Timmy Newsome. And Newsome has another Cowboy first down inside the 20-yard line. Terry Wilburn takes Newsome out of bounds. 3:55 remaining, and Newsome is having a good night.
Well, when Dallas throws the ball, they're throwing very safe passes. I'm sure Tom Landry will mention to Timmy Newsome that in the future, when we have this type of lead and at this time in the ball game, just stay in bounds.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they are throwing the pass. Frank, you mentioned earlier about the tiebreaker. I had forgotten all about that. Do you think that's really the reason they're passing the football now?
Get off my back. I just want to be the first to say it. It's just like a scrimmage from them. They're working out a little bit.
I think maybe
Levette again. Look at this kid. Oh, Howard Levette. Youngster from Georgia Tech, 5'11", 199-pounder. Was the leading rusher for the Cowboys and had a great preseason with them. Flag is down.
5.7 yards a carry. He averaged well over 5 yards a carry at Georgia Tech.
There's a 5-yard face mask foul. Number 55 defense. It's still first down.
Mel Coughlin of the Redskins. Yeah, that's hustling on the part of a kid named Robert Levette.
I think they may be just trying to give him a chance. That may be one of the reasons they're throwing the ball a little bit. They know Washington is standing in there to stop the run. Give the kids a half a chance to run the ball.
John Williams now joins Robert Levette, number 38. Levette is number 29. Williams, USF Feller with Michigan, and then later Oakland. And this is John Williams. Ball is loose, and there's a scramble on the Redskins, I believe, have it. Yes, they do. John Williams on his first attempt coughs it up, and the Redskins get it back inside their own 10-yard line. Darrell Green with the recovery. Mel Coughlin was the man who put the hit on Williams. Jay Schrader comes in. You mentioned he was warming up on the sidelines. Did not play that much out at UCLA in preseason this year. Schrader at 60%, but played a couple of years at UCLA and then signed with Toronto, a baseball contract. Played in the Carolina League at Kinston. And here's a youngster that well remembers Dwight Gooden. He played in that league also. He's one of the reasons Jay says that he took up pro football again. Nobody could hit him. Griffin. And Griffin is stacked up. It's freewheeling out there now. Victor Scott comes up. Randy White slides out from his defensive tackle position. And there will be a loss on the play.
This is good even time. You know, when you play a game like this, the score is out of reach. There are guys on these teams who genuinely don't like one another. And I think they're taking shots at one another right now. I remember in Buffalo, we'd be so far behind, we'd say, well, let's get so-and-so. You know, we haven't won the game, but we're going to get so-and-so.
You guys were doing that every week, weren't you?
Yeah.
Second and 10 with 3 minutes remaining. Schrader picked off again. Dennis Thurman, another touchdown interception. The 6th interception of the night. This one put in the air by Jay Schrader. The Cowboys are just sitting back there, literally like trout under a lily pad or something, and they wait till they put it up in the air and pow, they really snap it up. And Dennis Thurman, for all the years he played, that's his first interception in return for a touchdown. That's his 32nd career interception. You would have thought he perhaps had returned one for a TD before this one.
Dennis Thurman's got to feel nice. All these kids, you know, he's a player coach for this team. Join in the fun.
Stepped in on again. To the upright. Stepped in, has been letter perfect tonight. Dennis Thurman, 11th round draft pick. That's what he was when he came up 8 years ago. No one ever gave a shot at making it. He just one tough cookie. And a bright one, as O.J. said. He now is an assistant coach, a player coach, if you will. There'll be other nights. As a matter of fact, November the 10th, the Dallas Cowboys will be in the nation's capital.
You know,
Well, I thought that graphic was wrong because Dennis Thurman has now intercepted 32 passes. That was his 4th return of an interception for a touchdown.
We just saw Theismann there. He was probably saying, well, good, it wasn't me. You know, it wasn't me. They just got us figured out. It was a bad game plan.
Better thee than me.
you know,
There's a lot of that in football.
earlier this season, because of the rule changes, I really thought that there wouldn't be as much scoring going on in the NFL. I thought that the rules were going to help the defenses along this season. But after the first week, we're not quite finished yet. After the first week of professional football, I think we're off to one of the highest scoring first weeks in the history of the game.
Well, this one certainly is not going to hurt it.
No, it's not.
It's not over. 2:50 remaining. Stepped in, bangs it again. Michael Morton will bring it out. And Morton across the field to the 20-yard line. And somebody downstairs has just plugged in the computer again, and with tonight's game, there's been more points scored in the NFL this weekend than any other opening weekend in its history. This ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Chevrolet. See today's Chevy, drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy. And by the Wall Street Journal, the daily diary of the American dream, and by Federal Express, and by Honda. All-terrain vehicles, makers of the ATC 3-wheeler and 4-Trax 4-wheeler. Once again, we're going to be in Kansas City on Thursday night for the Raiders in Kansas City. A week from tonight, we'll be in Cleveland. We'll be Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Schrader puts it up again. Kept it short this time, and he goes to Rick Walker. And Walker has first down yardage. Now they're going to mark it now back to the 29-yard line. He's short of the first down by a yard. The big tight end who doesn't catch that many passes. He usually is the blocking move tight end. Tough night for the Washington Redskins. They came in, they looked like gangbusters their first series. 3 first downs provided by John Riggins on the ground. The Cowboys called timeout, and all of a sudden, the Redskins could do nothing on the ground. They've done less in the air. They have thrown 6 interceptions. Theismann had 5, and Jay Schrader had 1. Let's join O.J. and Joe Namath. How about some thoughts, guys?
Well, my thoughts are Dallas. They got to be happy. You know, I think the key to it is they finally have the middle linebacker they need, Eugene Lockhart. We haven't heard a lot about him today, but you can't stop the run playing the flex defense without a strong middle backer, and Eugene Lockhart seems to have solved that problem for the Cowboys.
Hey, I was really surprised at the way this Dallas defense dictated all night long to the Washington offense what they could do. I was surprised that Joe Theismann threw into coverage so many times. You don't see that happen from a veteran, especially one of Joe Theismann's stature. The Redskins will be back, of course.
Yeah, we saw him earlier last year, Joe, when they got blown out by the 49ers, but they still won their division.
They won their division, and they're planning on winning again this year. Now the Dallas Cowboys, being healthy, are off to a terrific start. As we said earlier, last year was the first time in 10 seasons that the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs. Injuries, that was the main reason. Now that they're healthy, it looks like they have a good chance.
Yeah, it should be a great year for them. They got that strong offensive line. Well, let's see what's happening down on the field, Frank. Not much.
As you look at this game, you have to think that Tom Landry, who said, I really don't know about this ball club, I won't know until after the game, and he has had a lot of changes. Anthony Dickerson is gone, the regular at right linebacker. He's been well replaced, obviously, by Jeff Rohr, and they have a rookie, Jesse Penn, they feel will replace Jeff Rohr someday, and perhaps very shortly. I agree with O.J. They needed a new middle linebacker. Bob Bruning was a great one. He played with a bad back last year. He didn't get it done, and they were hurt. Eugene Lockhart, a second-year man out of Houston, has done a superb job. And credit, really, a new attitude, if you will. That's what they're saying they have here in Dallas. Tom Landry told them last year the talking is over. When Buffalo beat them, Buffalo winning only 2 games all season last year, this team, according to many of its members, came together. They said we're going to have to do it ourselves. We're going to stop talking about it. And we saw them against Miami, even though they lost the final game of the season. They played good football in that game. They have played really well tonight. Schrader fires to Barnwell, and Barnwell will have first down yardage as the defense of the Cowboys is just dropping deep. But nevertheless, they are also, the Cowboys, in a tough division. They lost twice to the Giants a year ago. The Giants are a better football team this year than they were last year. The Cardinals are potentially a Super Bowl team. So it's going to be an interesting race. And I said it before this game, the team that loses tonight may find themselves, even though it's the first game of the season, playing catch-up football to someone within this division the rest of the season. This is Griffin over the right side. The youngster getting a lot of work as obviously Joe Gibbs knows this one is well out of reach, and he's taken John Riggins and George Rogers out. Kevin Brooks, the rookie first-round draft pick for Dallas, is also in there. He made the stop on Griffin. It'll be second down and 8. Reminder, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Jay Schrader gets one out to Griffin. And again, the Cowboys just laying off. Griffin will get the first down at the 49-yard line of Dallas. The Yankees have scored 5 runs in the 10th inning. They lead 9-4 over Milwaukee. And of course, they're trying to stay within 2 of Toronto. And if they can win tonight, and they were down at one point, they're up, and they were down, and now they're back up in the 10th. And if they can pull this one off tonight, there will be 1.5 back of Toronto. Wild races in baseball this year. Schrader releases one to Griffin, and Griffin picks it up at the 25-yard line. Another first down. This is why they were willing to let Joe Washington go. That and the fact that Joe had a lot of injuries last year. But Griffin, they say, or they'll tell you, can do many of the things that Washington did a year ago. Working out of the backfield, a good receiver, a good darting type runner. We've seen that tonight. So one has to wonder if the Keith Griffin is a Joe Washington. I've watched Joe Washington over the years, and he has really provided some thrilling moments. The Washington Redskins have never allowed in a season opener dating back to 1959. And that game against the Chicago Cardinals, the Cardinals scored 49. The Cowboys leading this one 44-14.
And the Cowboys have kept their reputation of being the best team in football on opening day. They were 24-1 coming into this game. That's 20 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. Now it's 21 wins.
Wild happenings this weekend. Super Bowl champion 49ers upset yesterday by Minnesota. Miami loses to Houston. Those Super Bowl teams had 29-3, a collective record of a year ago, and both of them lost to teams with 3-13 records. Schrader tried to get it into Griffin, and Griffin had no shot. Jesse Penn, the rookie from Virginia Tech that we've talked about this evening and now are seeing a little bit of this evening. He had a remarkable training camp, did Jesse Penn. Returned an interception, 77 yards against Green Bay. Gary Ellis, the running back for Green Bay, couldn't catch him. Tremendous speed. They got Jesse Penn, number 59, in the second round, and they feel that it won't be long before he's starting. But Jeff Rohr, you couldn't criticize the job he did tonight, replacing Anthony Dickerson, who was traded to Buffalo. Schrader, again, going downfield, looking for Gary Clark. That'll bring up third down. Yeah, he says that Mike Gooden is one of the reasons down that Carolina League, where Gooden was also playing, that he went back to football. Third down and 10. Big night for the Cowboys. The Redskins back to the TP to regroup. Schrader, the attempt to Barnwell. Everson Walls was there and Michael Downs. Again, we'll be in Kansas City for the Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday night, and again, that's a special time, 8 o'clock. And then a week from tonight, we'll be in Cleveland.
Yeah, it should be a good one. We're going to be looking at, that's Thursday, we'll be looking at, we know Kenny in Kansas City is going to put that ball in the air, and we know the Raiders, they had 10 sacks the other day, Big Howie Long and Lyle Alzado. It'll be quite a war.
And Monday it'll be Cleveland against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't necessarily like themselves. Another big rivalry, a divisional rivalry, as is the one coming up Thursday, the Raiders and the Chiefs. Schrader, down he goes. Final second. No, clock is stopped with 3 seconds. I didn't see any timeout indicator. They're just untangling the players, I believe, and they'll start the clock.
They're singing happy birthday.
Happy birthday. It's being played now, obviously, for Joe Theismann. Well, if you're watching young Joey, 14 years old, it was Joe Theismann's son's birthday, by the way, today. I mentioned it earlier. Your daddy's a great one. There'll be other moments. There'll be big moments, as there have been so many already in this man's career. In other words, don't worry about Pop. He's all right. That's the end of it. Bad night for the Redskins. They lose 44-14 to the Dallas Cowboys. They play again November the 10th. Once again, the final score, Dallas 44, Washington 14. Travel arrangements made through, and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United is the only airline to serve all 50 states. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports.